Hello class, I am Kushagra Goyal from IC College of Engineering and Technology, Greater Noida. We discuss the topic static versus dynamic website design. Our subject is web design, our code is KIT 401 and our university is AKT, that is Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University. So let's start the topic static versus dynamic website design. So basically there are two main website types of websites, static and dynamic. Static means ordinary, not updated, but dynamic is today's type of website. So a static site is one of that is usually written in plain HTML, and what is in the code of the page is what is displayed to the user. A dynamic site is one of that in which that is written using a server-side scripting language such as PSP, ASP, JSP, or ColdFusion. In such a site, the content is called in by the scripting language from other files or from a database depending on actions taken by the user. Next is relative merits of static and dynamic websites. So first we talk about advantages of static sites. Flexibility is the main advantage of web. Static site, every page can be different if desired to match the layout to different content, and the design is free to put in any special effects that a client may ask for in a unique way on different pages. This allows theming. For instance, an author may want a different theme for a different book and associated pages, or perhaps for a series of books in order to match the cover designs or the context of the stories. Cost is generally lower upfront than a dynamic site. Disadvantages of dynamic sites are the main problem with any static site appears when you wish to update the content. Unless you are conversant with HTML and the design methods used in the site, then you have to go back to the designer to have any content changes made. This may be perfectly okay when a page is required which needs design input. So we are talking about new pages which needs design input. But if all you want to do is change some text, then it can be nuisance for both client and designer. The second main problem is scalability. If you wish to sell products on your site and you have a lot of them, then you may have to construct individual pages for each one, which can take considerable time, effort, and cost. So the factor cost, they are ongoing cost for updating the content. Next is the topic dynamic sites advantages. So we are talking some good things about the dynamic sites. The main advantages of dynamic sites are that by connecting them to databases, you can easily put in configuration or information in an organized and structured way to create product pages or categories of related products sorted in a variety of different ways depending on how the user wants to view them. The ability to connect to a database means that you can also create a content management system, an interface which allows the client to input and manage data via a web-based series of administration pages that connect that content can be text for their pages and images to go along with the text or items in their product range with categories, specifications, short and long descriptions, images, etc. In both these cases, it can be as simple as complex as the client requires. There are little or no ongoing cost unless there is a change in the basic design or an extra capability added. So next topic is dynamic sites disadvantages. The design of a dynamic site is more fixed than a static one because many of the pages are essentially a template into which data and content is poured to create multiple pages of a similar type. So, for instance, all your product pages will be essentially the same page layout with different data being displayed. While some customization capabilities can be built in, it is usually quite limited, such as selecting from a site of predefined options, individual layout changes to particular pages are not usually possible. Costs are higher initially than for static site, and additional functionality may also cost more, particularly if it's something that wasn't envisaged originally and requires rewriting of the core code or database. So these were all the advantages and disadvantages of static sites and advantages and disadvantages of dynamic sites. So you can compare and you can know how to and what to make for your project. So thank you class. My name is Kushal Goel. Thanks for the lecture.